working through the 8 limbs of yoga, and we are now on the 2nd limb of yoga, which are the Niyamas. And the Niyamas give us some direction on, or some suggestions, some advice on how to navigate life as smoothly as possible. And this 2nd limb, or niyama, is about how do we deal with ourselves? How do we interact with ourselves? How do we be ourselves? And so that's where we're at. We're on the 2nd niyama today, and it is called Santosa. And that happens to be the name of my company, my business. So you can tell that Santosa means quite a lot to me. So Santosa means contentment. Contentment. And I'll explain what that means. But I'll start off by saying that I feel like I grew up a cup half empty kind of gal. So I would generally, if something happened, I would kind of look at the negative parts of what happened in that situation, or I'd like to grumble about how my life was difficult, and look at that side of things. And so when I worked with yoga, and particularly with the concept of Santosa, it completely turned my life around. So Santosa is really about finding the beauty in life, even in really difficult moments, even in really mundane moments where we think, oh, right? Even in those moments, there's something beautiful, right? There's something unique. There's something special. That moment may never happen again, even if it sucks, right? There's something interesting about that moment, maybe. So it's about looking at the world with fresh eyes. And so kind of like through the eyes of a child, like a little toddler who's like excited to see because everything's new, and they're exploring, and because we get really let's think of what the word is. We get a little bit spoiled sometimes, right? We might have a beautiful view, but we're so used to it, we forget maybe to appreciate it every day. Or, you know, we just get used to certain things in life, and it just becomes the norm. Whereas, so if we start looking at everything with fresh eyes, and we're like, wow, this is amazing, it changes the way that we approach life. So it doesn't mean you have to be one of those people who always goes around with a kind of fake smile on their face and pretends that life is amazing when maybe it's not. It's not about that. We want to feel feelings, and we want to approach life honestly. But Santosa, once you start practicing Santosa and you start noticing these special, unique things about life, it kind of changes your mindset. So you end up starting to approach life and look at life in that way, and you then become a much more positive person in general, just naturally. Of course, it's a practice, so it's not like it happens overnight. But when you practice Santosa, it can move you in that direction where you start to appreciate life more, and then you end up becoming just a more positive person. So that's Santosa. So while I asked you to grab a pen and paper, and if you don't have one, that's fine too. But the reason I asked you to grab one is because I thought maybe we'd start the class just jotting down a few things that you're really grateful for. So what is it that you're really thankful for today in this moment? Because sometimes when we're having a tough time, or the day is just frustrating, or we're in quarantine again, right? It just, sometimes we lose track of the lovely things in life and what we have to be grateful for. So just jot down a few things, and it can be anything. And if you don't have a paper and pen, just think in your head. And I recommend, especially when you're having a hard day, just getting out a piece of paper and just writing down all those things that you're grateful for. It's a really good practice. Some people practice writing a gratitude diary every single day. So it's up to you, but those are just some suggestions. Okay, so you can place that aside and just find a comfortable seat. You can sit on something if you like to raise your hips. You can sit on the ground if you want to, just finding length through your spine. Shoulders away from the ears, shoulders towards each other at the back. So your chest is opening just a little bit. And you can always come back to those gratitude that gratitude list anytime after the class. So I'm going to show you what our breath work is going to look like, because we'll be closing our eyes at that time and you might not want to open it. So what we're going to do for our breath work, while we're seated breath work, is we're going to kind of have our hands as though they're holding a balloon. And as we inhale and we lift, we expand the belly and the chest. We're going to inhale, so we're inhaling through the nose and we're expanding the arms as though we're blowing up a really massive balloon, and we reach out to the sides, right, as wide as we can or as long as our breath will allow. And then as we exhale and then the air is coming out of our belly and our chest, we're just moving that balloon as it shrinks a little bit. So it's through the nose and you're just opening up through the arms with the breath, imagining you've got this ginormous balloon, and then exhaling, it just is contracting as the air comes out. So that's where we're going, all right? So you're closing your eyes, you're extending through the spine, and just pausing here for a moment. And maybe we can start off class just really appreciating how amazing our bodies are. So even if we have aches and pains and challenges in certain poses, like, our bodies are incredible. So finding a little bit of gratitude for them. And then just notice, checking in with how you're doing today. So it is okay if you're feeling a bit negative, it's okay to acknowledge that. But feeling how your physical body is feeling. And maybe if you have something that's negative, maybe you can also go, but I feel really good in this area. And then notice how your emotions are today. And again, it's okay however you feel. You don't always have to feel amazing. Just notice. And then checking in with the mind and the activity there. And again, just recognizing how amazing we are. We've got these emotions, we've got our physical body, we've got our minds. And then we also have our breath, which is such a great resource, which really can help us to slow things down and calm us down and bring us back down to earth. So we're going to breathe, take a few breaths just through the nose to begin with before we move the arms. Just really slowing the breath down. So it's as though you're just slowly sipping in the air and really enjoying it, finding that contentment, that Santosa with every single breath. And with every exhale, not just the inhale, just letting go of anything that doesn't serve you is something that feels quite good. So you're inhaling the new, and you're exhaling the old, things that don't serve you. and enjoying that. Really notice the process. And then you can bring your arms almost straight out in front of you. They don't touch. It's as though you can feel the energy between your hands. And then you're going to inhale really super slowly as you move your arms out to the side. And you can even press them back behind you if you have enough air on the inhale. And then really slow, letting the air out through your nostrils on the exhale. With your speed, it doesn't matter how fast or slow you go. You're working with your breath. And then you're going to come up with one more round of expanding, inhaling, and contracting. And then you're just releasing the hands down to the thighs. Just notice how the arms feel, how your body feels. And pause for a moment. And then you can gently open your eyes. You can remove the block or whatever you're sitting on, if you're sitting on something. And we're just going to bring the feet quite far apart. I'll show you to the side. They're quite far apart. And we're just going to drop the knees over to one side. The hands can be behind you. So we're inhaling, lifting the knees up, and exhaling, dropping them over to the other side. So the knee and the heel don't touch. There's enough space that you can just find some movement without connection between knee and foot. Couple more with your breath, really working that breath. And then you're going to bring the legs down to the original side. The left hand remains, well, the hand closest to the knees remains down. The other arm lifts up and open up through the side body. And then we're going to exhale, coming down, moving the knees over to the other side, and just lifting the hips up, reaching up overhead with the other arm. Coming back to center, you can give your knees a little squeeze as you get long through the back. And then you can play with exhaling and inhaling, just working a little bit of massage on the spine. The length of the spine. One more time. And you can come up, if you like, to a little squat. You may or may not get there, that's okay. You're fine either way. But we're going to come then onto hands and knees. Spreading the fingers wide. And then we're just going to cat-cow, inhaling, looking up. Exhale, rounding through the spine. And working your breath here. And then calming, when you finish the next round, coming into neutral. You're going to take that left foot up. So you're working to press it up to the sky. Taking a couple of breaths here. One more inhale. And then you're going to exhale, rounding through the back, bringing the knee in towards the nose. Inhale, pressing that foot up. Now we're going to bring it out to the side. So taking a moment here, deep inhale and exhale a couple of times. And then we're going to bring it over towards that elbow or the upper arm. Breathing here. Pressing that leg, foot back up towards the ceiling. Taking a breath. And then we're going to tuck it behind the other knee. So it's just coming and it's going to come down to the ground. So your knees are stacking. That's the where we're aiming for. It may not get there. They might be further apart. That's okay. Try to get your sits bones on the ground so that they're both down. And you can even have your hands on the feet if you want, or you can lift up behind you, or you can maybe find some movement forward. So just listening, this might be super challenging. So just being kind, again, just noticing that your body is amazing and that everybody is different, which is also amazing. Few deep breaths, just notice if it's challenging, and particularly in those challenging moments, can we find some contentment anyway? Again, it's a practice. You might want to yell at me at this moment, that's okay too. Breathing here. And then we're coming forward, back, pressing, we're putting the legs back down. There we go. We're going to press down with all toes, with the feet, and just lifting up through the knees so they're hovering here. Fingers are spreading, you're pressing down with all parts of the arm, the hands. Few deep breaths. Knees come down. We're going to do the other side now. So it should be your right leg, but whichever one you didn't do last time. So you're just lifting up that foot towards the ceiling. Notice where you feel this in your body. Those slow, slow breaths with through your nose. And then we're going to round through the back, bringing the knee in towards your face. Bringing it back up, pressing up, and then out to the side. So it feels a little strange here probably because we're asymmetrical. Just breathing, notice where you feel it. And then we're going to bring it in towards that upper arm, just going in that direction. Even if it's hard, just breathing. And pressing that foot back up to the sky. You've got this. Now, we're going to take that knee and we're going to tuck it behind the other one. And both knees are going to come down. And we're just stacking those knees here. So it's a bit unusual. The legs, we're wanting to bring them out to the sides and have both sits bones pressing down into the ground. Lifting up through the spine. And anything that works here, so you can come forward if that works for you. And then unraveling those legs, coming back into a tabletop. And we're going to turn the fingers towards us and come into lion's breath. So lion's breath, just as inhale through the nose, the exhale, you're sticking your tongue out and you're looking at the point. So you're kind of almost cross-eyed a little bit. You're focusing on that point between your eyebrows, that third eye center, as you exhale. So inhaling deeply here. Exhaling all out. Inhale. Exhale, what you don't need. One more time. Inhale. Exhaling here. Even if you feel a little silly, it's all okay. Silliness is fine, right? Tucking the toes. We're going to press back, downward facing dog here. So finding your stability, your ground, so spreading the fingers wide, pressing down, particularly between the thumbs and the index fingers. That's where I see most people lifting. And you want to really spread your weight between your whole hand. You can bend your knees any amount, getting length through the back. You can lengthen your legs any amount, so long as you can keep your back and arms super straight, all the way from wrist to sit bones. Taking a couple of breaths here. You can have your heels lifted if you need to. It's all fine. We're going to take the right hand and you can bring it on your left leg anywhere that it gets to. So it can just be on the upper leg or you can bring it to the ankle and we're just twisting here. So looking under that left armpit. Again, not beating yourself if this is super challenging. Beating yourself up if this is super challenging. Just going with it and finding something, some way that you can find some stretch in this pose. Switching sides. Other way, so the left hand coming to the right ankle or anywhere on that leg and twisting. And of course, this is your practice, so you can always decide if you don't want to do a pose. Coming back to center, pressing back one more time. Bending the knees is all fine at any time. In fact, it's good if you have lower back issues. And then we're going to step 1 foot at a time, coming forward. And then just bending the knees, bringing chest down to the thighs, making a sandwich with your body. And you can shake your head no. You can nod your head yes. You can interlace fingers behind you if you like. Lifting up and over, finding openness in the shoulders. If this is really hard, whoops, you can always grab onto a sweatshirt or a towel or maybe a strap, and you can open up and have your hands a bit more at a distance. So just listening to your body. One more breath here. And then the hands can come down. You're going to bring your arms out to both sides, bending the knees a lot, paralleling your chest to the ground, coming all the way up, coming up onto your toes, reaching up towards the sun or the sky. And then the heels come down, hands together, hands to heart center. We're going to do a bit of work on the hips, so you're going to just bring your arms out and you're just going to let your arms fly from side to side like a kid, right? So we're trying to just not be so serious as adults. Find a little bit more joy and laughter and silliness. So you're just looking around as your arms move. And just allow them just to hit you as they go around. They're not going to hurt. There we go. And coming back to center. We're just going to move the hips. So you're just bringing your hands onto your hips. And we're going to inhale. You can go forward and maybe exhaling back. Just working those hips out. It's more the waist. All right, and then go in the opposite direction. Great. Now we're going to come into center, and we're going to come into the breath of joy that some of you know. So it's that 4-part breathing. The first part, we feel the breath in the belly, the second part in the chest, and then the third part should just be sucking in a bit more air to completely fill the lungs. And exhale, we're doing it out through the mouth. And so it's just exhaling out as much as we can. So basically it's inhale through the nose, a sniff, inhale through the chest, a sniff, inhale a little bit more, and exhale through the mouth. And then we do some arm movements to go with it. So it's inhale, 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 ha. And you can make a sound if you like, just letting everything go. So we're going to keep working with that. So I'll show you one more time. It's inhale, 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 ha. And you might just get lost. Just join in when you're ready. It's all fine. So it's 3 inhales, 1 exhale. So I'll show you one more time. Ha. And we're going to go. Ready? Okay. Ha. 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 2 more. Ha. Ha. And then just let yourself hang. Just taking a moment there. And you can walk your hands over to the left side. You can have your knees bent here as you do it, or a little more straight. And then you're walking them over to the right side. And coming back to center, knees bent a lot as you roll up 1 vertebra at a time. All the way up. Palms face away from you. Closing your eyes here. Slowing down the breath through the nose. Slowing down the heartbeat. Excellent. So we're going to come to the front of your mat. We're going to squeeze in the right leg. So you're just lifting it up, squeezing it in here. Maybe you've got hands on your hips, and you're going to just press that leg out. It can go down any amount. You're trying to keep your back and leg in line with your leg, standing leg. Inhale, squeezing that knee in, and we're going to kick it back behind you. So we're going to come into a warrior 3, finding some laughter, some joy, some silliness. If you fall over, it's okay, it's just a pose. Elbows squeezing in towards each other, so you're opening through your chest. We're going to do that one more time. Inhale, knee squeezes in. You can even grab around it if it feels okay. Exhaling, we're lengthening here. Inhale, lift. Exhale, pressing back. Just doing it mindfully, carefully. Pressing the elbows towards each other at the back, trying to keep your hips even here. And then that back foot calming down to the ground, pressing the heel away from you. Inhale, arms reach up. And then we're just going to cactus the arms out and open through the chest. So the front knee is just directly above the ankle. Your chest is opening, shoulder blades coming towards each other. Excellent. Hands coming to heart center here. Taking a breath. Inhaling here. Now you can drop your knee if you like to the ground if you need a little bit more support. Or you can have the back knee lifted. Inhale, we're reaching forward. Exhaling, we're twisting hip. We're taking the right elbow and we're hooking it over that, the knee or the leg. And we're going to press the arms in and try and stack the shoulders. We don't want to collapse into that arm. So we're just lifting up here. This can be the same if you're on your back knee. All good. Lots of options. There's no rule saying we have to go to the maximum that we can do. So opening the arms here if that feels good. And then if you like, you can work with lengthening through that front knee. So even if you're down on the ground, you can work to lengthen through that front knee. So your choice, you can use a block, you can just bring your arm up higher onto that leg, lengthened leg. Or you can have hand to the lower back. Excellent. Rebending through that front knee, calming back, finding smiles if there's wobbles, it's okay. Excellent. And then for everybody, hands together. Knee can come back down to the ground, hands to heart center. Taking a breath. Hands down to either side of the front leg. We're lengthening it back. So you might want to use books or blocks. And if that back knee feels a little bit, if it feels uncomfortable, you can always grab a cushion and place it under that knee. Finding length through the back, finding toes coming in towards your body, activating that leg. Left hip comes back, right hip comes forward a little bit, finding your length. Now you may stay here, this might be perfectly enough, or you can come down any amount towards that leg. Breathing wherever you get to. Inhaling, finding length again. You can take your right hand, placing it anywhere along that left leg. And then you can take the other hand to your lower back. This might create difficulties with balance or wobbliness. And if you want, you can play with trying to open up. So it's just finding that joy in trying difficult things. It may work, it may not. You may fall down, but you should be fine. Just being gentle with yourself. Calming back. Again, lengthening through the back. And exhaling, folding over. Excellent. We're coming back onto that front foot. We can bring the arms up overhead, tucking through that back knee, lifting it rather. Taking a breath here. Hands to heart center. And we're going to turn both feet in towards center. So the toes are almost pigeon-toed here, coming towards each other. Interlacing the fingers, pressing down and back, opening through the chest. And then exhaling, you can again, so I'm interlacing here and pressing down and back, but you can again use a strap, you can use a towel if you've got broad shoulders or tight shoulders. And then exhaling, lifting up the arms and folding forward. You're trying to bring the weight in the front of your feet rather than in your heels. So just moving your whole body forward just a bit. And you can always release the arms. You can bring blocks or books underneath your head, if that feels good. As you come forward a little bit more. And then removing that, if you had something, you're taking your left hand down underneath your head, right hand coming to your lower back, stacking those shoulders. And then if you want, you can lift the right arm up to the ceiling. Breathing here. The left hand can move over to that right ankle or the right foot if it feels good, if you want to get a little deeper. And then calming back down, hands can come up. You go to come center, getting a flat back. And exhale, folding head coming down towards the ground. And then we're going to place the right hand under the head. The left hand can come to the lower back for a twist, lifting up the left arm if that feels good. And then you can take that right hand and move it towards that left foot, getting deeper if that feels good for you. And again, just noticing anything that helps with contentment. It can be the stickiness of your mat that's not letting you slip. It can be the fan that's keeping you cool. Whatever it might be. And then calming back through center. Arms come out to the side. You're coming flat back here. And then inhale, bringing the weight again towards the balls of the feet, not in the heels, as you lift all the way up. Hands touch. And exhaling, hands to heart center. Turning the toes to the front of the mat where they were, towards where you started. You're going to be warrior two for a moment, reaching out, looking over that front, fingertips. And then we're going to reach. So we're just lengthening towards that left side, getting length through the right side body. As we lean forward, it's challenging. Excellent, calming back up. Hands coming to hips. And we're just going to turn on the back heel or the ball of the foot. Heel lifts and lifting that leg. Bringing it in front of you again. Squeezing it in. Squeezing it in. Excellent. One more breath. And then the foot comes down to the ground. Palms facing front. Tadasana. Mountain pose, closing the eyes, slowing the breath and the heartbeat down. Opening the eyes, we're coming with the other leg. So we're going to lift that left leg up this time, squeezing it in. And then hands can come on the hips. We're kicking out in front of us, getting length. Inhale, lifting again. And exhale, we're trying to press that foot back, elbows coming towards each other. So you're opening through the chest. Inhale, calming up, lifting through the knee. Kicking that heel out, exhale. Inhale, coming center. Exhale, pressing back behind you. Lovely. Foot then calms down, lifting through that back heel. Inhale, arms and reach up. Now you can bring the hands together at heart center with the exhale. And remember, you've got a choice. You can have knee lifted, or you can drop the knee. Either way, we're going to inhale, reaching forward, and we're going to twist that left elbow over the right knee or the thigh there, and you're just twisting, lifting up. So there's space on that left side. Stacking the shoulders, trying to bring the hands to heart center or towards the heart center. Really pressing that left heel back if the knee is lifted. And then you can open up the arms if that feels good, whether you're on your knee or whether your knee is lifted. Now you can straighten through that front leg. You can lift up so that front arm can come anywhere on that extended leg. and you're finding a twist here. If you're down on with the knee on the ground, you're doing the same thing. Breathing wherever you are, finding your balance, breathing. And then rebending through that front knee. Arms are going to come all the way up. And then we're just going to open up through the chest here. Elbows just bend. Taking a moment. So whether the knee is up or down, you can do this. And then the hands coming to heart center. Dropping the back knee for everybody now. Hands are going to come down either side of that front foot. And we're extending through that leg. Excellent. Remember, you can use some tools to help you, right? And we can find some satisfaction, some contentment in using these things that are available to us that can support us. We don't have to be wonder people. We can just use what we have. So we're taking that right hip back, left hip forward, so your inner thighs are coming towards each other, finding length through the back. And then exhale, bringing chest down towards that thigh. Inhale, coming up. That left hand can then come grab anywhere on this right foot or right leg. And then you can take the other hand to your lower back if that's going to work for you. It might not be accessible, so just playing with wherever you get. And the arm can come back behind you if that feels good. Hands coming back down either side of that front foot. We can re-bend through that front leg, tucking the back toes. Inhaling, arms up. This can be challenging, so just trying your best. Lifting through that back leg here. Taking a breath. And then we're going to turn to the center of the room, coming into that straddle again here. Exhaling, the arms are going to come out to the side. And we're going to fold forward, flat back here, bringing weight forward again. Hands are going to come down towards the ground. And we can just play here with just finding a bent knee here, and then moving to the other side. So opening up through the hips a bit, breathing with your breath. So you can come all the way into Skadasana if you want, but actually this will work some slightly different muscles. So just working with what feels good to you. Okay, couple more. Excellent. We're going to bring the hands towards center, turning the feet out, the toes out to the sides. We can cross the hands here, and we're going to lift up through the heels, maybe playing. So again, it's looking at things like children. They don't just give up if things are difficult, or they don't give themselves a hard time and go, oh, I'm a horrible person, or I'm terrible at this, or I can't do this. They just persist. They play, they give it a go. They'll do it 100 times if they need to. So just finding that joy in play here. Heels come back down, arms sweep up, coming up here. And we can move a bit from side to side. Sitting down just a little bit more. You've got this. Maybe you've got shaky legs, that's okay. And inhale, reaching up. Star pose. Coming towards the front, warrior two. Taking a breath here as you reach and get length through the side body here. Inhale, calming back, hands to hips, turning on the ball of that back foot, heel lift, lifting up through that leg. One more time, lifting, and maybe kicking out one more time, and release. Palms out to your sides, closing your eyes here. Slowing the breath down, slowing your heartbeat down. And all of this work is also to slow your mind down. Gently opening your eyes here. We're going to come into a frog pose on the ground, so this is to open up through the hips. So what happens is everything's at right angles as far as possible. So the idea is that the knees are coming out to the sides as far as possible. So you're bringing the knees out. There's a right angle at the knee, so you're bringing your legs directly behind you. Also your feet and your toes are coming in, so there's right angles there. So you're trying to find space, and you might just find that this is enough. Generally, what I notice is that people come forward too much when they lean down. You're trying to also keep your hips and your knees in line with each other. So you find where you can, coming down. If this is really, really challenging and it's not going to work for you, you can try and see if it helps to bring your heels towards each other. And then you can also pile up any number of blocks or books or anything that can help you to just relax down. And breathe. You can bring your chest down all the way to the ground if you like. And just notice in this pose whether your shoulders are tight, so release through your shoulders. Notice if your jaw is tight, and maybe move your jaw from side to side. And then also notice what happens, because this is not most people's favorite pose, right? So notice what happens when you're in a pose that you don't enjoy. Can you find some Santosa or contentment here? Even if it's when you come out of the pose and you no longer have to be in it. That's also one way to find Santosa. But even in this pose, is there anything you can find in terms of Santosa or contentment? Deep breaths here. So you want to inhale through the nose and really feel the back expand. And then exhale, letting everything out. And feeling the back contract. So you've got 3 more breaths here. So you can find some contentment in that if you're not a fan of this. And then you can slowly find your way up, right? And then see if you can find, it's a bit awkward, a way to bringing the knees back. Sitting up just for a moment, just notice how that feels, right? We keep a lot of emotional baggage and things in our hips. So just closing the eyes and just allowing that just to leave. Excellent. Opening the eyes here, coming down onto your butt. We can find ourselves coming into a boat pose, lengthening through the back here. Now this might be too much. You can just have one leg lifted. You can have both feet on the ground, and this might be enough because it's working the core. And we're going to inhale here And exhale, bring the arms over to one side. Inhale through center. And exhaling over to the other side. So you can have straighter legs here if that works for you, but you don't have to go there. Inhale, center. Exhale, left. Inhale, center. Exhale, right. One more time. Inhale through center. Exhaling, left. Inhale, center. And exhaling, right. We're going to inhale center and we're going to lengthen everything down but not quite get down to the ground. And inhale, trying to come up, keeping that core working and active. Exhale, calming down. You can always have your hands down if you need to as you lift. One more time. And actually here, we'll just relax down fully onto the ground. You can have palm space up. Taking a couple of deep breaths. Now you can bend through the right knee if you like. The left leg is going to come up. We've just done some work on the hips, so we're going to do a little bit more. All that's going to happen is you're trying to bring, I'll show you from the front, maybe that helps. You're trying to bring your leg or the shin up towards your chest. Now there's limits on how far that might go, and some people obviously have more flexibility than others. So you can hold onto your knee and your foot, and you can rock your leg from side to side. Or you can use your arms and bring your leg into kind of that crease of the elbow and then work it like that. You can always lengthen through that right leg if you like. But just if you've got lower back issues, you probably want to bend it. And just moving that foot or that leg from side to side. If you want to go even further, you can try and tuck the shoulder or the arm underneath that knee crease. And you can work to bring that foot behind the head. So again, it's not about showing off or doing, you're just taking what works for your body. And it may get there, it may not. And maybe this is already really challenging, and it is challenging. So just notice the wonders of your body, because they are wonderful, and just listening here. Excellent. And then we're going to switch sides. So the right leg comes in. Again, you can have left leg bent or straighten. And you can just hold onto your knee and your foot, or you can come underneath with your arms and move them that way, trying to keep your head and neck relaxed though. And if you want to go that crazy next step, you're just trying to tuck your shoulder, your arm behind that knee crease, and maybe bringing that foot towards the head. Just playing. Excellent. Bringing the legs then back into center, lifting them up, pressing the lower back onto the ground, palms face up. Taking a couple of breaths here, it's like legs up a wall. Reaching up towards the toes with your fingertips, shoulders and head lifting here. And then maybe straddling the legs, reaching the arms through. Inhaling, coming on up, lifting. Exhaling, bringing your arms through. Bringing knees into chest, moving here from side to side. We're going to come into a chest opener here. So we'll come into fish pose, Matsyendrasana. Your palms are going face down, right underneath your butt cheeks. Your forearms are coming down onto the mat, and you're lifting through the chest, finding openness and interest and excitement about what the world has to offer, even in challenging, troubling times. Neck opens up here if it feels okay. Otherwise, you can lift the head up if it's too much on the neck. But you're imagining that you've got a belt underneath your back, lifting your chest up to the sky. Excellent. And then releasing through the arms, releasing through the back. Knees come in towards center, and you're just rolling from side to side. So you're going to take your knees over to the right side, just allowing them to drop. We're coming into a spinal choice. The left arm is just coming perpendicular from your body out to the side. You can have your right hand resting on your legs. And you can have your gaze over your left arm if that feels good, closing your eyes, or with a soft gaze. If that's a bit much for your neck, just your gaze can go up to the ceiling. Breathing here, just enjoying this spinal twist. Finding that Santosa, that contentment, that connection to the ground. I can hear birds singing in the background. That helps me with contentment. Contentment that this class is nearly over. Whatever it might be, humor is okay too. In fact, highly encouraged. Inhale, coming back through center. Giving yourself a big unconditional hug. Life is really challenging. So being there for yourself here, having your back, taking care of yourself, and then rolling the knees over to the other side, the arm and shoulder coming out to the right side, right shoulder pressing down, left hand can just rest gently on that top knee, and enjoy. Inhaling, coming back through center, final hug before Shavasana, squeezing everything towards you as much as you can, and then stretching out, finding your Shavasana. Don't worry about space, feel like you can take up as much space as you need to. Really, you can have your legs, your feet apart and the feet just flopping out to the side, palms face up. You can have them 30 degrees, the arms away from your body, or you can have them even more. Just enjoy being in this space. And then we're going to quickly just scan through the body and make sure that there's no tension left. So I'll just talk you through the body parts quickly, and just as I mention the names, just bring your attention there and let go of any additional tension, just allowing the body to melt into the ground. So we'll start with the feet and the ankles, the shins and the calves, the knees and beneath the knees, thighs, hips and pelvis, relaxing, melting into the ground. Fingers and hands, wrists and forearms, elbows and upper arms, belly, lower back, rib cage and chest, middle and upper back, Shoulders, relax fully. Neck, jaw, all of your face, your cheeks and nose and ears, eyes and forehead, top of the head, whole body just feeling completely relaxed. You don't have to control the breath anymore. Just allow yourself to surrender, to let go of control just for these few minutes. Moving your fingers and your toes, and just notice the sensation of how that feels when you move them. And so it's the first time you're noticing that. Moving your arms up, stretching them overhead, really noticing the length in your body, really observing those details. And then bringing knees in towards the chest. Giving yourself a hug, noticing that should feel really good, right? Regardless of how it looks. Giving yourself that care, that kindness. And rolling onto your right side, using your right arm as a pillow. Again, notice the comfort of the ground there beneath you, there to support you. Bringing yourself up into a seated pose. You can keep your eyes closed, finding any way that this pose feels comfortable for you as long as your back is really extended and lifted. Thumbs and index fingers touching. We're just going to inhale deeply here through the nose. And exhaling out through the mouth. Inhale nose. Exhaling mouth. One more time. Inhale nose. Exhaling mouth. Hands coming towards each other, touching. Notice that connection, how that feels. Inhale, reaching out to the sides and all the way up, fingers reaching up and touching. And exhale, hands towards the heart center. Inhale, reaching out towards the sides and all the way up, reaching and noticing the contentment of that stretch. And exhale, hands towards heart center. One more time. Inhale, reach all the way up, touching. And exhale, hands coming to heart center. How good does that feel to have the hands there, thumbs pressing into your sternum? So finding some gratitude here, and you wrote your gratitude list earlier, and maybe you can come up with some more. But finding gratitude to yourself for taking the time, for your body, for your mind today. And then bringing the hands up to the third eye center between your eyebrows. I'm really grateful for each of you, for the energy that you're bringing to this class and for creating this community. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. Namaste.